Hello and welcome to the Greater Washington Community Foundation's celebration of community champions. I am thrilled to join you tonight as we celebrate what makes our region truly remarkable, the people and the partners who stepped up to help our community navigate COVID-19. Normally, we would all be gathered at the arena stage with 800 friends and colleagues to network, celebrate, and to raise money to support the mission of the Community Foundation. But as we have throughout this pandemic, we've made some adjustments for the times. And though tonight may feel different, the love that we share for our community is what unites us all who are gathered here tonight. My name is Abby Phillip. I'm the anchor of CNN's Inside Politics Sunday and a senior political correspondent. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area in Montgomery County and in Prince George's County, Maryland. And it's for that reason that I am incredibly grateful for all of the work that you have put in to truly helping our community survive and to thrive. Over the last year, we've come together to respond to the unprecedented challenges of a global pandemic, an economic crisis, and calls for racial justice. And tonight is all about celebrating what we can accomplish together. In times of crisis, the Community Foundation serves as our region's philanthropic first responder, mobilizing philanthropy and leading critical initiatives. And this crisis really put that experience to the test. Throughout tonight's program, you're going to hear how the Community Foundation led the largest coordinated philanthropic response effort to meet the urgent needs of our community when it needed it the most. This effort would not have been possible without the more than 1,300 donors and 300 nonprofit partners, many of whom are joining us tonight. Thank you. Your partnership and support helped raise and deploy critical resources to help families put food on the table, a roof over their heads, and get access to medical care and so much more. You're also going to hear the incredible stories of neighbors helping neighbors through these challenging times. Tonight's honorees represent the spirit of service, creativity, and deep generosity. From a volunteer effort supporting local businesses by feeding frontline workers to a corporate commitment to distribute millions of PPE units to small health clinics and nonprofit providers. Each of our honorees stepped up in different ways for our community. And you'll enjoy some exclusive performances of music, theater, spoken word poetry, and even a virtual art gallery. Tonight's performers are from some of the region's most exciting and impactful nonprofits, supported by the Arts Forward Fund, a funder collaborative which provided over $1 million in emergency support to help arts organizations survive the pandemic and respond to the growing national movement for racial justice. Even though we're physically apart tonight, our goal is to come together. There are still many ways that you're going to be able to participate from the comfort of your very own home. We invite you to share how local philanthropy is positively impacting our community on social media using the hashtag #CommunityChampions, or you can tag @CommunityFNDN on social media platforms. You can also take advantage of the opportunity to network with your fellow community champions and share your congratulations using the chat box next to your video screen. And finally, you can help us celebrate the people and partners who truly inspire by adding them to our Community Champions mural and watch our mural grow. Tonight, we are celebrating you, our champions, for standing up for this community in its time of greatest need. And while we may not be fully past this crisis just yet, though we are so close, I am incredibly hopeful about what we can accomplish together now and in the future for this great region. And I'm so thankful for the Community Foundation's commitment to ensuring equitable recovery and a future for our community. So now let's sit back, get comfortable, and get ready to enjoy the show.
Hello, I'm Benton Murphy, Senior Advisor for Impact. I'm thrilled to introduce our first performance tonight from DC Jazz Festival, an organization which provides enriching and entertaining performances to introduce students from various walks of life to jazz. DC Jazz Festival nourishes the community with free educational programs that extend their reach into underserved neighborhoods and enhance the quality of life for DC public and charter school students. DC Jazz Festival's performance will feature native Washingtonian and acclaimed pianist Alan Johnson. The multi-talented musician, composer, arranger, and producer is joined by longtime collaborators Herman Burney on bass and drummer Carol V. Daschle III, making for quite the star-studded set for all the jazz lovers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Weymouth. I am thrilled to be with you this evening and to serve our community as chair of the Board of Trustees. Although we cannot be together in person, you are in for a real treat this evening. Be prepared to be inspired by the stories of the amazing change makers in our community who stepped up during a time of great need. Tonight, we celebrate the collective impact and efforts of our community to help navigate this crisis. You will also learn about the important work that your support and partnership enables, and how it has made a real difference for our neighbors facing hardship. At the Community Foundation, our work is transformative, and it would not be possible without you, our community champions. Over the last year, we were able to lead a coordinated response to the pandemic and economic crisis, convene public-private partnerships to address our region's most pressing challenges, and work toward fostering an equitable recovery for our region. If you haven't already, I hope you will consider making a gift to support the incredible work of the Community Foundation to ensure our region is an equitable, just, and thriving community. Giving directly to the Community Foundation is a critical investment in strengthening our region and creating a brighter future for our most vulnerable neighbors. Your contribution ensures that the Community Foundation can be flexible and prepared to lead the response to today's needs as well as tomorrow's challenges. I hope we can count on your support. Go to thecommunityfoundation.org/celebration to make your gift. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our fearless leader, Tonya Wellens. Tonya was named our permanent CEO at the end of March 2020. In other words, right as our community reported its first cases of COVID-19 and the world came to a screeching halt. Tonya moved immediately to pivot the organization to address our community's urgent needs. Thanks to Tonya and her incredible team, and thanks to the generosity of you, our donors, who quickly saw the need and stepped up to the plate, we were able to raise more than $10.5 million and led the region's largest coordinated philanthropic relief and recovery effort. Thank you. Tonya was recognized for her leadership by Washingtonian Magazine as Hero of the Crisis and was named the Washington Business Journal's 2020 Nonprofit Leader of the Year. Now she has turned her attention to helping the Community Foundation chart a new strategic course for future growth and impact. I, for one, am really excited to see where she will take us next. Please join me in welcoming Tonya and showing your appreciation for her efforts.
Thank you, Catherine, and good evening, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be in your virtual company this evening. I'm Tonya Wellens, President and CEO of the Greater Washington Community Foundation, and this evening, I am incredibly delighted to celebrate and give special thanks to you, our community champions, for standing with our community during its greatest time of need. As many of our neighbors turn to our region's nonprofit sector for help covering basic needs like food, shelter, and medical care, this critical network of service providers struggled to keep up with the increase in demand. In response, we launched a coordinated effort to make strategic investments to stabilize our region's nonprofit sector and expand critical services, to respond quickly and effectively to the urgent health and economic needs of our community, and to reach low-income households and communities of color disproportionately impacted by the crisis. Our community stepped up to help us meet this challenge by mobilizing over $10.5 million, making this the largest coordinated response effort focused in our region. With your support and partnership, we were able to fund 300 local nonprofits to adapt and expand critical services to reach more families facing hardship. From the beginning, we made it a priority to support Black, Indigenous, and people of color-led organizations and communities. And I'm proud to share that over half of our nonprofit partners are led by people of color. Let's hear from a few of our partners about what this support meant to them.
I'm Samantha Davis, the Executive Director of the Black Swan Academy. Black Swan has responded by providing mutual aid to families east of the river and continuing to engage young people in advocacy and organizing efforts. Your support has allowed us to provide toiletry kits and groceries to schools in Ward 7 and Ward 8 on a weekly basis.
I'm Peter Lowett, Executive Director of Mobile Medical Care. The funds are to make sure that we have the capacity to deliver the necessary care services for our patients, but also conduct the kind of outreach that is so necessary for people who might otherwise prefer essential care for both their chronic diseases and their acute issues, as well as, of course, managing COVID-19.
My name is Rashida Jameson, and I'm the President and CEO for United Communities Against Poverty. We are the designated community action agency for Prince George's County, Maryland. Our Community Foundation COVID relief funding allowed for us to provide PPE gear to our frontline workers, and also emergency food relief to our homebound seniors, and also to our community members who tested positive for COVID and who are quarantining. We are forever grateful to the Community Foundation for always having boots on the ground in times of need.
Thank you to our nonprofit partners for your heroic work to support our neighbors in need during such a difficult time. And thank you to the 1,300 and more individual and institutional donors who contributed to our efforts. None of this would have been possible without your generosity. We have all been deeply moved by your courage and your giving. For example, Patricia Weiss-Fagan, who has been a longtime supporter of the Community Foundation, was the first donor to make a contribution to the COVID-19 Response Fund. Sophie Feltz, a local florist, hosted a flower drive and donated all of the sales. Countless individuals celebrated their birthdays by raising funds from friends on Facebook. There are many more stories like this that you will hear tonight, which continue to inspire us. This regional effort also came together in large part due to the coordination with our peers and longtime partners in philanthropy. Thank you for partnering with us and trusting us with your giving. I would also like to thank our donors and partners who continue to work with us to create positive change in our community, whether during a crisis or beyond. Since 1973, the Greater Washington Community Foundation and our community of givers have collectively invested more than $1.3 billion to support and strengthen our community, including more than $78 million in annual grants last year. And 71% of those grants were made to organizations in the Greater Washington region. It is because of donors like Terry Beatty that the Community Foundation is able to mobilize philanthropy for this region and lead with community impact initiatives. Terry and his wife Ann are longtime Community Foundation supporters who recently made a longer-term commitment by establishing an unrestricted bequest, meaning funds can be used for core operating expenses, a resource that's essential as we work to address the greatest needs facing our community. Terry and Ann, thank you for investing in our future. I also want to recognize our community champion supporters, particularly the Leader Family Philanthropic Fund and Cliff and Deborah White Family Foundation. Both the Leader and the White families have been steadfast partners and supporters of our work for many years. Thank you for sharing your passion for philanthropy and service with us. And finally, I must give many thanks to my incredible staff. Since March 2020, this team has spent countless hours listening to nonprofits, talking to local government, coordinating with other donors and partners, fielding calls from people in need and organizations fearful about their future. Thank you to our staff for the incredible work you continue to do every single day to support this community. I offer one final thank you to all of our community champions. Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate our honorees and our community's collective impact. We remain committed to responding to the urgent needs as they rise and look forward to continuing to work with you to build a more equitable, just, and thriving Greater Washington community. The Greater Washington Community Foundation has been proud to partner with and serve our community during its time of need. In addition to raising and distributing more than $10.5 million from our Emergency Response Fund, the Community Foundation also facilitated collaborations with local businesses, government agencies, and other partners that led to an additional $30 million in targeted funding to help our community navigate this crisis. Local arts and culture organizations were able to make essential shifts to sustain their work through the pandemic and to respond to the national movement for racial justice. With support from the Arts Forward Fund, a partnership with the Morris and Gwendolyn Capers Foundation, and several other funders, children in Montgomery County received critical emotional, educational, and social supports during virtual learning at educational enrichment and equity hubs launched by our Children's Opportunity Fund in partnership with county government and other local partners. Local workers who were excluded from federal stimulus efforts are receiving direct financial assistance through the DC Cares program, a partnership with the Executive Office of the Mayor and Events DC. Small businesses in Prince George's County received relief funds to help minimize the risk of closure, ensure job retention, and drive economic development. Funding was provided by the Legacy Fund for Small Business Development in partnership with FSC First. The DC Education Equity Fund is a partnership with Education Forward DC and the DC Public Education Fund to ensure digital equity and excellence for all DC students by providing the resources and support they need to continue their education throughout the crisis. Local restaurants like Clyde's Restaurant Group, Fabio Trabocchi Restaurants, and Call Your Mother Deli opened employee relief funds to raise critical resources to help impacted employees meet short-term needs for food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical care, and more. Get Shift Done DMV, launched in partnership with Nationals Philanthropies and several local funders, helped displaced hospitality workers earn an income by working shifts for local nonprofits, providing meals to neighbors in need. This work wouldn't have been possible without the contributions of donors and partners like you. Thank you for standing with us and for being a champion for your community.
I'm Amina Anderson, Senior Director for Prince George's County at the Greater Washington Community Foundation. Our next performance will absolutely blow you away. Joe's Movement Emporium has a mission to inspire creativity through cultural experiences, supporting arts education, job training in our creative community. Saini Cisse is an alumna of Joe's Creative Works program, which offers job training in digital and theater technology. Saini was recently selected as a 2021 Prince George's County Youth Poet Laureate and is currently completing her associate's degree from Prince George's Community College. Her poem, Water, deftly comments on race, politics, and the environment.
Hi, my name is Saini Cisse, and I am the 2021 Prince George's County Youth Poet Laureate, and I am also an alumni of Joe's Movement Emporium's Creative Works. The first poem that I have for you all today is titled Water. Water is blackest thing I've come to know, see. Black and water go hand in hand and wave back to the Middle Passage. Water remembers our ancestors who couldn't bear to have a spirit that wasn't free, so they jumped ship, shed the body so the soul could return home. You could not keep them in enslavement. And remembers those who could not survive the journey and were thrown overboard because they never bothered but to leave black bodies floating in the water. And maybe there is something in our spirits that's been dying of thirst ever since. Black is water and thirsty for help, but black bodies always gotta save themselves because everybody else finds it easy to look the other way and leave us to drown. Black boy drinking bottle of Hennessy like a magic potion. All his unacceptable emotions are washed down with the liquor and suppressed for a while longer. Water like 1950. Black body is barred from the swimming pool because black skin is too colorful and not lighter than a paper bag. The white faces laugh like, surely you ain't got no buoyancy in that body, and black skin ain't never come with the right properties to float. Your hair would get messed up anyway because your mama spent 2 hours to hot comb that hair. We have forgotten how much water we really are. Like black child telling black parents that they are gender fluid, and they tell them that's some white people-ish. And if you pray on it enough, then maybe you can dissolve your identity. Water like Flint. How they've been too content to leave black communities with rusty water and lead poison water. How many times we have forgotten and remembered, and how they still can't drink from their tap to this day. But they say race ain't got nothing to do with it. Say find a better place to live. Like, can't black bodies swim upstream with all that magic you say you got? I once heard to withhold someone's rights to water is one of the biggest acts of violence. So tell me how this isn't war. Water, like how black women always gotta be vessel, a support and pouring, even when not replenishing each time. We can only rely on each other to fill ourselves back up. Water is the blackest thing I've come to know. Like black refugee finding its way in America, a fish out of water finding its way in a melting pot. They drink the assimilation hot and steaming water. Like how we were never taught how to swim. Have you ever noticed how the body is 70% water and 70% of us don't know how to swim to this day? Black children are at the highest risk to drown. Water like black depression. We are taught to swallow our sad and keep swimming cause there ain't never been no sympathy for black tears. Black could scream and the world will still try to find a way to color our blues mute. We see water and black hair. It is fluid and winding. Now they always want to be on our wave, want to be seasick with slick edges and waves, but never know what it feels like to drown or feel fish out of water. Just want to drink from blackness without inheriting the black blues. Only want to dip their feet in the water without becoming it. And always quick to abandon before the osmosis creeps in. But they still say it ain't that hard to swim anymore. And if you want to know a magic trick, just say black people invented water and watch white face turn flesh red with anger cause they ain't come up with it first. All I have left to ask is, how isn't water the blackest thing you've ever heard?
Our first award this evening is being presented to several civic heroes for demonstrating outstanding civic leadership and service dedicated to improving the lives of Prince George's County residents. Please meet our civic heroes.
First, I'm very grateful and very appreciative.
I'm deeply honored to be recognized.
I am extremely honored and humbled to receive this amazing award.
It's a high honor for me to be included among the several awardees.
I'm Steve Proctor of GS Proctor and Associates. I don't believe I should be in the forefront because it's not about me. It's us, and when I say us, we have a tremendous team at GS Proctor and Associates. Everyone that works there is from the community, of the community, and gives back to the community. So we partnered with Dr. Golson and Suitland High School, and we fed 600 families. We partnered with Bishop McNamara over in Forestville, but we don't do it for the limelight or for the kudos. I just think it builds a better community and just creates a better tomorrow for our youth and for everyone around us. It's a real honor to be standing alongside some of the other recipients that will be recognized at the same time. Real legends, Dr. Monica Golson, true friend of mine, works with kids every single day, gives back.
I can say that during the pandemic, it has allowed us to come together as a community and family. It's the support that we receive from organizations like the Greater Washington Community Foundation. We were able to make sure we remain connected to our families, whether it was through food insecurity, closing the digital divide by paying for Wi-Fi access for our students and families, or dropping off a laptop just to make sure that they could connect with their teacher and students. All of those things are what make me Prince George's County Public School proud, and just to have the ability for us to be resilient through a pandemic has brought us stronger and closer together.
To Dr. Thornton, a true legend who's dedicated and given his whole life to our youth and to kids.
Our democracy has no future except through our children. That's the nature of society. That's the nature of human culture. I chaired the major commission that resulted in the first education finance adequacy legislation in Maryland. Now that's the high point for me, where you could bring together the people of Maryland and say, no, we will be united and child-centered around our babies. I call them our babies. And we will come up with a formula that guarantees as much as possible that notwithstanding where they live, zip codes, notwithstanding their race, black or white, or religion, or whether they're in Eastern Maryland or Western Maryland or Baltimore or Prince George's, that they will have adequate access to resources that they need.
Dear friend, Senator Mike Miller, who recently passed away, was very important to him to give back to the less fortunate, to the voiceless, so that meant a lot to him.
Senator President Mike Miller, someone that I've known for almost 30 years, one of the most dynamic leaders in the history of Maryland, and certainly played an oversized role in my life and my development. But it was his love of people, his love of the state of Maryland, and the love of his community. And I think outside of his family, that was his greatest love.
Mike could have been a governor. He could have been a congressman or U.S. senator or maybe even president of the United States. However, he chose to remain in the Senate and actually remained there for over 30 years, the longest of any in the whole United States.
That's why I think it's so fitting that President Miller is being honored with the Civic Hero Award for his lifetime achievement. Very fitting for someone who's given so much to the state, to the region, and to his community.
It's super special to be standing alongside three real giants. I'm a firm believer, and I live by this philosophy of give much more than you take.
It's quite an honor, quite frankly. It's an award from your peer group, and that's always the best type of award.
Thank you to the Greater Washington Community Foundation for this tremendous honor. I accept this award on behalf of the 132,000 students and 19,000 employees that I am proud to lead and serve each day in Prince George's County Public Schools. They are my fuel and energy and the reason why I do what I can with the support of so many others. Over the course of this past year, the Prince George's County Public School community has been tested like never before. Yet, our students, families, and employees have all risen to the challenge. I am proud, Prince George's County Public School proud, of all that they have done and continue to do. Our students exemplify excellence and resilience. When you go into a classroom and have a chance to see learning in action, you cannot help but seek out greater opportunities to lead and serve on behalf of our children. I want to take a moment to express my appreciation to every student and the Prince George's County Public School family. You are my civic heroes, and I am honored to represent you. Thank you also to my own family for their unwavering support.
I am deeply honored to receive the Civic Hero Award from the Greater Washington Community Foundation. This is a high point in my career, and I'm deeply honored to be recognized with the other honorees. I accept this on behalf of my family and me and the community that I have served, and I thank you deeply.
I just really wanted to take this opportunity to say I'm truly humbled, thankful, and grateful. The reality of it is this award is not about me, but I did want to use this platform to say thank you. Thank you to the Community Foundation for what they do every day. Thank you to our business partners who make a difference every single day by putting up their resource, their time, and their treasure and giving back to the community. I want to say thank you to our religious partners who every day help us out in terms of giving back and improving the quality of life for our neighbors, whether it's food insecurity, education, job opportunities, workforce housing. Just wanted to say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to my family who goes through this with us every single day. It's in their DNA, and they make me better every day as a result of that. I want to say thank you to all the board members of the various boards that I have the opportunity to serve on, who partner and give back. We're volunteers, they volunteer, and we give back to the community because it is the right thing to do. So whether they're partnering, whether it's in healthcare, and the healthcare workers have been the front line, as we all know. I serve on a bank board where we made sure during the pandemic that those loans were put out in a timely manner so that people could make payrolls, so they could pay their rent, so that families could have the money that they needed. So, there's business organizations from the Round Table to the Board of Trade. Just a real blessing to see these business leaders give so much of their time. So this award really isn't about me. This was simply a platform to say thank you to so many who have made a difference in my life, who've made my life better, who partner with us every single day to give back to our neighbors who have some needs. And to the Community Foundation, thank you for what you do. You're a true blessing. We'll continue to be a partner. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, a real heartfelt thank you.
Hi, I'm Patty Miller, and this is part of my family, my children and a few grandchildren. And I'm going to accept an award from my husband. It's very bittersweet, but it's an amazing award, a lifetime achievement. He worked tirelessly for 50 years doing public service. He helped so many people, and I am sitting in his favorite place, and right behind us is the Chesapeake Bay, which is a big priority, was a big priority in his life, and also the University of Maryland. He wanted that university to become one of the top in the nation in academics, and I think he made it happen. So I want to thank you all so much, all of us do, for this great honor of a Lifetime Achievement Award. We love and miss him every day so very much.
We love you, Papa! Love you, Papa!
Our next award is for a community hero that has led a volunteer-driven effort to support local restaurants by providing meals to healthcare and frontline workers. Learn more now about Feed the Fight.
My name's Elena Tompkins, and I'm a lobbyist and a mom and a wife and the founder of this crazy idea called Feed the Fight. As a mom, I have kids I need to feed a lot. One thing I don't do is cook. Over the years, I've become pretty good friends with quite a few restaurant owners.
My name is Shahab Farivar. My brother Maziar and I were owners of Peacock Cafe in Georgetown. March 16, and I remember the date pretty well. That's when the guidelines came for shutdown of the restaurants and public areas. That was just very difficult and worrisome.
When I realized how much they were going to be suffering and how impactful this pandemic was going to be on them, that's how the idea came to my mind. We did lunches for about 40 people to a couple hospitals, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. And then I checked my Venmo account a couple days later, and I had over $8,000. By the following week, I had over $25,000, and that's when I called Jason.
I called a couple of friends who had nonprofits and talked to a couple of clients who were nonprofits, and a friend suggested the Community Foundation, and I reached out and they were all over it. I mean, without an existing infrastructure, I don't know how we would have done that.
We went from the first week of doing 50 or so meals to literally within 2 weeks, we were doing thousands of meals every week from 24 or so restaurants to at least 30 different facilities across the area.
By raising money to buy food from local restaurants for healthcare workers, you were really helping out two parts of our region that were being really harmed and really impacted by everything that was going on.
So the first donation of 20 tacos really snowballed from there through the generosity of those that got involved with Feed the Fight. Recently, we even received a donation from them of 1,300 meals, which fed everybody that was working at Sibley that day. It's more than just feeding. It's also feeding people's spirit and letting them know that the community cares about them.
My brother Maziar was telling them as we're putting them in the boxes, listen, it's somebody's, after a long day's work, food. It's their lunch or dinner.
From the bottom of my heart, in behalf of the thousands of employees that work at Sibley Memorial Hospital, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to Elena, her whole family, and the entire Feed the Fight family.
Thank you, Elena, from bottom of my heart and on behalf of the whole group at the Peacock Cafe. It was incredible. Thank you.
Any middle of the night idea may sound crazy, but if you just put some blood, sweat, and tears into it, you can make anything work with a community of heroes behind you. It is an honor and pleasure to accept this award from the Greater Washington Community Foundation. This opportunity culminates a year like no other. To everyone at the foundation, thank you for being willing and accepting of a middle of the night crazy idea with no clear plan or path. Thank you for working closely with us as things escalated quickly. I would also like to thank the Feed the Fight team who volunteered countless hours of their time, expertise, and resources, some of whom I've yet to meet in person. Thank you. I will forever be grateful. Feed the Fight was an idea that combined many goals: helping restaurants stay open, supporting healthcare and frontline workers who are risking their lives every day, and providing a way for individuals within our community to safely give back. I will never forget what transpired over the first week of Feed the Fight. The outpouring of love, support, and generosity was truly overwhelming. Our operation grew quickly, and within a matter of days, Feed the Fight went from sending lunches from just a few restaurants for 20 to 30 healthcare workers to thousands of meals per week from more than 24 restaurants. With this growth, we were able to serve nearly 30 different facilities across the region and broaden the type of groups we were able to support. We fed doctors, nurses, aides, policemen, firefighters, volunteers, you name it. I'm pleased to share that the success of the program inspired others throughout the country as we received countless requests to replicate our model. But what I'm most proud of with Feed the Fight is the dual purpose it served: feeding our frontline heroes and supporting local restaurants who never gave up, even in the darkest of days. In those early days, everything was stacked against the restaurant industry, with only the ability to offer takeout meals and limited staff, not to mention the fear of this horrific disease. But restaurant owners were determined not to make a profit, but to keep their team employed. Every restaurant we worked with shared that goal: to keep their team, their family together. We witnessed very successful restaurant owners packing hundreds of meals and driving all across the area to deliver them personally. Their generosity was clear. We heard day after day from hospitals, medical centers, police stations, and firehouses how amazing the food was and how much they appreciated it. Not only for the obvious reasons, but for the feeling of knowing that people were taking care of them while they were trying to take care of the extremely ill. This has been an experience I will never forget. And while there is so much about the past year we all want to forget, this experience showed what true community looks like, and I am proud and humbled to move forward knowing that I live among heroes.
Hello, I'm Anna Hargrave, Executive Director for Montgomery County. Up next, you are in for a special treat. Our friends from Arts on the Block have prepared a virtual gallery tour for you. You will meet and learn about creative projects from several students who are part of the Youth Arts Movement, a 9-week online visual arts program for young artists with STEAM elements conducted in both Spanish and English.
I'm Clayton Evans from Arts on the Block. Hello to all of our friends at the Community Foundation. We appreciate your support, we cherish those connections, and we celebrate with you. Right now, I want to share a few presentations from some of our youngest creatives.
So my name is Dylan. I'm in 3rd grade with Miss Christy and with Miss Nancy. My favorite art project was the piggy bank. I really liked it because I used a lot of plaster and I've never used plaster before. And what I like about YAM is that I learned to draw and learned and have more art techniques, and without YAM, I would have been bored during COVID.
My name is Samir Akawajay, and I am almost 12 years old. I attend Neilsville Middle School and am currently in 6th grade. I made it my self-portrait try to resemble me while trying to mix my skin tones. My city is futuristic looking, very eco-friendly, and entertaining. Most of my inspiration is from Leonardo da Vinci. I look up to him because he was very smart. He also likes engineering, science, and art, just like me.
We especially want to thank the Children's Opportunity Fund, the Arts Forward Fund, and the Divas. Be well, everyone. We look forward to showing you our new space in downtown Silver Spring when it opens in the fall.
Our third award this evening is for a collaborative hero, representing a public-private effort to combat food insecurity in Montgomery County by expanding distributions, supporting local farmers and small businesses, and improving our food security systems. This is Food for Montgomery.
We believe in food. Food is community. It brings people together and keeps us alive.
We believe in community, that if we all work together, we will all be lifted up.
We believe in transformation, taking a problem and working toward short and long-term solutions.
We believe in empowerment, that often people just need the right opportunities.
In short, we believe in a hunger-free Montgomery County.
The Montgomery County Food Council is honored to work alongside the county and the Greater Washington Community Foundation to lead the Food for Montgomery initiative. Food for Montgomery is a public-private partnership that marshals the resources of our county government, local farms and food and beverage businesses and restaurants, as well as over 120 food assistance providers, nonprofits, and faith communities who are all committed to providing food security and food access for all of our county's residents.
What makes Food for Montgomery stand out for me is our reach. Food for Montgomery touches every person and each aspect of a community, from feeding neighbors to strengthening the local hunger relief system so that it's resilient to meet the needs of the future.
One family we work with lost their mom. The young woman who was with the family was planning to go to college. Unfortunately, her mother contracted COVID and got sick and ultimately passed away. This young woman was able to enroll in college knowing that her family was well taken care of through the resources at Food for Montgomery and the Community Foundation.
One of the greatest strengths of the Food for Montgomery initiative is its ability to leverage the robust network of food assistance providers, investing in large, well-established organizations like Manna Food Center.
Our busiest days were during the holidays, before COVID. And now with COVID, we're busy basically every day.
The COVID-19 pandemic illustrated how critical it is for us to have sustainability, resilience, and coordinated strategies to address hunger in our community.
Before COVID, we were averaging 3,100 families a month. Now during COVID, we're averaging a little bit over 4,200 families a month. With Food for Montgomery grants, we've been able to help the local community not just to obtain fresh produce, but also we were able to work with the local farmers.
This partnership has invested in an innovative farm-to-food bank program, supporting 22 local farms to connect local nutritious food to our food assistance network, while also investing in the capacity building of our local farms.
We were able to purchase minivans and have them retrofitted to be able to service them directly.
We've invested in partnerships with restaurants and caterers to provide nutritious meals to residents who are COVID positive or households who are self-isolating so that they can make sure that they have nutritious food while they're also staying safe at home. I'm incredibly proud that Food for Montgomery has been selected as a collaborative hero.
Good evening, I'm Will Jawando, Council Member at Large here in Montgomery County. It's my honor tonight to accept this award on behalf of so many that have made Food for Montgomery possible. You know, when I was volunteering with my local church, Kingdom Fellowship AME, we were passing out food distribution. This is early on in the pandemic, and we never had enough. We were purchasing it from Costco, the church was, at very high marked up prices and giving it out and always running out with 10, 20, 30, 40 people left over. And I thought, man, this is just hard to deal with. And I knew that I wasn't alone. I knew that the character of Montgomery County was to help people, that we care about our residents, and that there were probably other people that wouldn't have been happy to see people go hungry. And that was really what planted the seed for Food for Montgomery, this public-private partnership that has come together now and raised millions of dollars to support food insecurity efforts. So this is a big collaborative effort and initiative. So I have some people that I want to thank, and I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm going to look down at my notes here. First, the co-chairs, Tracy and Jean, and all of our ambassadors for spreading the word, to the Community Foundation who spearheaded the initiative and made it possible, to the over 800 donors here in Montgomery County whose gifts are fueling this vital work, and those are still coming in. You all have indeed redefined generosity. I also want to thank the J. Willard Alice S. Marriott Foundation, Washington Gas, David and Michael Blair, Burness, Business Leaders Fighting Hunger, Roberts Oxygen, and the Leader family for their inspirational gifts that have made this campaign possible. I also want to recognize the Montgomery County Food Council and the many nonprofits and faith partners who have stepped up and worked hard over this past year to make sure that no one goes food insecure in our county. We're also fortunate to have many local farmers and restaurants and other small businesses who have joined the effort along the way. And although you all were hit hardest during this pandemic and the economic fallout, you realized that you were uniquely positioned to step up and help neighbors who were in need. We thank you. Finally, to the county executive and to my fellow colleagues on the council and all of our staffs who appropriated the money and helped implement this program. Your work has been inspiring, and I want to thank you especially. I want to close by thanking everyone who shares the belief that no one should go hungry in our community, and especially not in the midst of a pandemic. None of you threw up your hands throughout this year and said, "This isn't my job, I can't do it." You stepped up and you built a stronger, more resilient food system in the process. This is truly a collaborative effort, and I'm inspired by our community, and it's an honor to accept this award. So thank you, and have a great evening.
Hello, I'm Rosella Davis Rogers, Director of Donor Services. Our final award of the evening goes to a corporate hero for committing to distribute 1.6 million units of PPE at no cost to nonprofit health centers and independent providers on the front lines of the pandemic. Learn more about Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield's Care Delivered initiative.
Last spring, at Healthcare for the Homeless, we found ourselves in the same position so many community health centers faced. We were short on PPE, but our clients continued to come to us with urgent health needs. They needed COVID testing and treatment for life-threatening chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, substance use disorders, and more. We were doing all we could to keep our clients and the staff who cared for them safe, but PPE was scarce. The gift of masks, gloves, and gowns from Care First came at the perfect time, providing relief until we could establish a partnership to bundle our PPE requests with Mercy Medical Center. And that partnership in turn allowed us to bring back suspended services like dental care and to reopen our clinics in West Baltimore and Baltimore County. Thanks to support from Care First, we weathered the dramatic shift of circumstances and have protected our frontline staff and clients as we all manage as best we can during this historic health crisis.
My name is Christy Respress. I'm the Executive Director of Pathways to Housing DC, where our mission is to end homelessness for people using the Housing First model that we brought to the district back in 2004. I just want to take a second to congratulate Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield for being recognized as the corporate heroes that they are. It's hard to believe, but just a few short months ago, we were scrambling to get the basic things that we need to keep our staff and the people that we serve on the street safe in this pandemic. We needed masks, we needed gowns, we needed gloves, we needed hand sanitizer. We were scrambling, and then the cavalry came. I remember the moment those boxes came delivered to our door. I had tears in my eyes. We were so grateful. So Care First, I just want to say thank you for being our hero.
I'm Rob Malone, Executive Director for the ARC Prince George's County. I am so grateful that when we were in need, we had partners like Care First who responded. Initially, accessing PPE was difficult and it was expensive. Grant programs through the Community Foundation and directly from Care First were timely and critical. We had a need, a serious need. Thank you, Care First. And thank you, Brian Pinnock, for coming through and being heroes to the ARC. Through your Care Delivered program, you saw and responded to a vulnerable community. Through informative webinars, you helped us educate our staff on the virus and the vaccines. And to put icing on the cake, you sent those comfort items to distract people with developmental disabilities as they received their vaccinations. Those cool pins and those blue stress balls. Thank you so very much, Care First. You are our hero.
Greetings to all of our friends at the Greater Washington Community Foundation. On behalf of our over 5,500 associates, I want to thank you for choosing Care First as the recipient of the Corporate Hero Award. At Care First, our associates are truly difference makers. And we're so proud to be recognized for the support we were able to provide to frontline healthcare workers in the communities both of our organizations care so much about. Receiving this particular honor from the Greater Washington Community Foundation makes it even more special to us because of the shared vision of our two organizations, to support and enrich the lives of the residents and members in the communities we serve. We will continue to work tirelessly for the greater good of those communities through incredible organizations like yours, and to continue our support through community investment and programs to promote health equity and well-being. My congratulations to the other heroes being recognized at this evening's celebrations. We are deeply honored to be in very good company. Thank you again.
Congratulations to our fabulous honorees. Our community thanks you for everything that you do. Despite a challenging year, I am so proud of how the Community Foundation and our incredible staff were able to pivot quickly to focus on crisis response work, while also continuing the important work of serving as an anchor institution for this community. From supporting and advising the more than 800 individuals, families, and businesses who turn to the Community Foundation as partner for their charitable giving, from leading community impact initiatives focused on ending homelessness in DC, to closing the opportunity gap in Montgomery County, and advancing equity and economic mobility in Prince George's County, to investing more than $70 million annually in high-impact nonprofits working to enhance the quality of life in our region. Our work is transformative, and it is truly immeasurable in terms of the hope and opportunity that it provides. I hope you will give generously to support the Community Foundation's work, to invest critical resources in our community, to incubate new solutions, to convene partners to address community issues, and to lead initiatives and serve as advocates. As a way to pay tribute to your community champion, someone who has truly inspired you, I encourage you to make a gift to the Community Foundation in their honor. Use the QR code on the screen to make your contribution to the Community Foundation. Thanks for helping us build thriving communities that are rife with opportunity for everyone.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Rothy,
Chief Philanthropy Officer at the Greater Washington Community Foundation. By now you've seen the incredible impact that the Community Foundation and our partners have made on our region over the last year, and the difference that your contributions have made. Now let's take a look at our mural to celebrate that collective impact, energy, and efforts of our community of givers and change makers. It's great to see so many champions for our community. Thank you for lifting up those who inspired you in particular this last year. To all our community champions, thanks so much for your support tonight and beyond. Now, before we say farewell for the evening, I'd like to introduce our final performance. Cinetic redefines theater by blending innovative techniques and movement, investing in artists' growth, and creating unforgettable, visceral experiences for every audience. We're excited to show you an excerpt from the first Cinetic Motion Pictures film, a short entitled, All the World's a Stage. Enjoy this final performance, and thank you once again for joining us this evening.
Sickness and in health, forsaking all others, to remain united to her alone, so long as you both shall live, and say,